Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's doing good. I'm not doing too bad. I just super tired. I don't know. I think it's you guys know I have iron problems, so I'm just tired all the time, but I'm just super tired today. I have today some sweet and sour chicken over some rice. Doesn't that look so good? It looks pretty good. So, I'll take a bite and try it. Let me come up close with that and see if I can do it without spilling it. It's just plain white rice. Very good. You really don't need anything with the rice because the sweet and sour sauce gets on it and makes a nice flavor. I can hear my TV in the background as usual. My diet soda. This chicken's really good. I'll give you a close-up of the piece of the chicken so you can see it. Yeah, okay, it doesn't look like it's gonna drip. This I don't want to get anywhere because it's very super sticky. I love sweet and sour sauce. I like soy. And it's pretty good. I love duck sauce is one of my favorites too. Duck sauce is really good. But duck sauce is almost, I mean, it's not the same, but to me, with sweet and sour duck sauce, they're both sweet. And I know this is a little later, but I wanted to wait a little bit before I really talked much about my little Tigger. I had so many wonderful comments on that video, and I appreciate it so much. I just didn't, I'm sorry, I didn't think, I was thinking, I haven't been crying about him. I mean, I guess since I'm talking about him, it makes me a little teary-eyed, but I know he is better off. A lot of people ask me what happened to him. He just died of old age. He was old. He was at least 17 that we know of, so he could have been older. And we had taken him to the doctor, and they said that he was a healthy cat, very healthy cat. He was just old and was dying of old age, and we opted to bring him home and let him peacefully go at home because they didn't think there was any kind of suffering or anything. And if he did get worse or there was problems, we could just bring him back. But he did really good. And then I told you guys how much he loved boxes. He loved boxes a lot. So we got him a nice fresh box. Sorry. I should have brought a knife. Some of the chicken pieces are too big. I might have to stop for a minute and get some one. I thought for sure I'd just be able to cut it with my fork. So, but he did really good. And then the last 24 hours, he just went downhill really fast. It went so quickly, you know. He went and lay down in his box. And I think that's where he wanted to be. He loved his boxes. No matter what size the box was. You saw in the picture, one of the pictures, he's on a huge box. That's when we were having our kitchen. I think that's when we were having our kitchen remodeled. Or, I don't know, we had bought something. I'm pretty sure it was something like that. It was a huge box, and he was laying on it, and it could be a tiny box where he can't fit in, but he still wanted to be on it. So he loved his boxes. So I made him a nice bed with a blanket and a box, and he laid down, and he stayed there. He never got back up that day, and so I knew it was coming. And I did it one time, pick him up, and I held him in a blanket, and I gave him lots of love that day. And then I laid him back down with his blanket in his box, and I'd check on him every once in a while, and he'd look up at me, and I'd scratch his ear and stuff like that. He loved that. He was definitely a mama's boy towards the end. When we first got him, he was a daddy's boy. Then he was nobody's boy. He just wanted to be left alone. And then the last few years, he was a mama's boy. But I kept checking on him. And he would look at me and raise his head and look at me. So it was really sweet. And then that night, he hadn't said nothing or anything like that, but he meowed a few times, and then shortly after that, he was gone. And I tell myself he was just telling us goodbye, and that's what I think it was, because after that, he passed. So he was so beautiful, and he was ornery. He was ornery looking too. He was definitely his way, and I always told him he was a drama queen, because he'd meow until he got what he wanted, or everything he wanted he got, because he was such a brat. He wouldn't stop meowing until he got it, and he figured, oh, I'll annoy you to death till you do what I want. But I do thank everybody for all the wonderful, sweet words and stuff that you guys gave us. It was so sweet. We definitely appreciate them. I just didn't want to, I wasn't going to go back and comment on the video, because when I edited it, I cried the whole time. And I thought, I don't want to keep going back every time, because then I felt I had to watch it, because I felt bad. So I thought that's why I commented. I probably won't edit on or comment on this video, because I just didn't want to every time cry. And I mean, even now, I could watch it and not cry, but if I'm maybe showing somebody and they start talking, then I'll get a little teary-eyed. But I thought it was beautiful. He was a beautiful cat. Definitely very much loved. There was no lack of love for that guy. But the other cat surely misses him, and Nikki notices him gone too. But we all miss him. And I told you guys a story of how we got him. My husband, I'll just say a little bit about it, because maybe somebody hasn't watched that video. But my husband was working for a company, and they had a lot of cats coming around, stray cats, and they never really caught any. They put up a cage. Not my husband. My husband would never do that. But the people that owned the company, and there wasn't really much you could say, and they would collect cats, but they never got any except for him. And when they got him, and they said, well, we're going to take him to the pound, my husband said, no, I'm going to take him home. So and the reason why he got caught is he probably was hungry, because I think we had tried to find if he had an owner, but at that time it was kind of hard. You know, the internet wasn't like it was now and stuff like that. But we didn't see any information on him or anything, because he looked like he was pretty well taken care of, except for he was hungry and worried about food, and that's how he got caught. And at home, he was always worried about food. All he wanted to know that there was food in his dish. If the food bowl was empty, he'd sit there and stare at it till you filled it, and then he'd go on about his business. He'd never want the food bowl to look empty. But my husband brought him home, and within 24 hours, he's like he lived there forever. He was a king of the castle. We did have a dog, another dog besides Nikki. Her name was Terry. She died of old age too. She had a bad heart towards the end of her age, so, but she lived for quite a long time too. But him and her within 24 hours, they were best friends. They played with each other, even though it was a cat and dog. They played with each other and did whatever. And then we got Sissy. And Tigger didn't like that. Tigger did not like any other cat coming in. She was a baby when we got her. And she would follow Tigger around, follow him around. He'd hiss at her and hiss at her to get away, but she wouldn't leave his side at all. So they became best friends. They really did. They loved each other so much, and I know she misses him. So I feel bad. But we're not going to get another cat. These are the last animals we'll have. It's just too hard. It's hard, and it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work having animals and stuff. But still we'll feed our strays and stuff like that. But so Sissy came along. He wasn't happy. Then next thing you know, they came buddy. Then we took in another stray. Her name was Bobby. But she belonged to somebody, but we took care of her for a while. He hated her. Actually, I don't think he hated her. She hated him, actually. She was, we called her Bobby. She was a bobtail cat. And she had that short tail. And when I took her to the vet, I asked the doctor about that. He said she was born that way because I was worried somebody had chopped her. I asked him, did somebody chop her tail off? And he said, no, she was actually born that way. But she was the type of cat, she didn't want no other animals around her. And she just loved my husband. She wouldn't let him alone. And Tigger, she was mean to Tigger. She swatted him whenever else to get away. So, but he wasn't always so nice to her either. But he didn't care. At that point, he was more the leave me alone, kind of cat. All the outside cats they'd come up to the screening porch and they would visit Tigger, and he'd get down and he'd look at him. But he didn't really want, I don't think, any other animals neither. He wanted to be a king. And then we got Nikki. She's sleeping right here. Boy, didn't like her any. I don't think Sissy didn't either. Only because they were older. And when we got Nikki, she was a puppy. So you know how that goes. They don't sit still. They want to play all the time. And so she kind of harassed him a little bit. But then after a while, they just grew to love each other and it didn't matter. So now we just have Nikki and Sissy. I'm thankful for the time we had with Tigger. He was a good guy. I used to call him, if you look at some of his picture, he reminded me of the Pink Panther. I always tell him he looks like the Pink Panther in his face. I am using my mic right here, so we'll see how this turns out. I just don't want a lot of, I want sounds, but I don't want like a lot of chomping, so I hope it's not like that. Because I know when I watch a video, I love the sounds, but I don't want to hear the, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, the crazy noises, you know, the big chomp, 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 chomp type thing. Oh, Nikki just stretched. She's funny. She has short legs, so when she stretches, it's like, they're going to go so far like a T-Rex, you know. She's like, oh, that's it. So, but yeah, that was, he just died of old age. And all your wonderful words made me feel good. I feel better now. I know it was for the best for him. It doesn't make it easier. But he ate up. He ate. Not a lot. Because as he started getting older, he started eating a little less. But he ate right up to the probably 24, 30 hours before he passed. So he was eating right up to then, going outside. But he was very slow. I noticed he was real slow and, you know, just an old man. And I'll tell you something cute that he used to do. He always wanted me towards these last few years. I don't know why. But especially if I go sit outside and he was on a table, he'd come up to me and I'd put my head down and he'd put his head up against my head and then he'd rub like this on my head. So he loved his mama. And then he'd force me to scratch his ears for the longest time and behind his head. He never liked his belly tickled at all. I don't think most cats do. What Tigger didn't want, Tigger didn't do. So hot, so crazy outside. I can't even sit outside on my porch anymore. It's just way too hot. I see some birds flying out there. This has been a pretty bad year so far. I'm hoping everything continues on and gets better. King of Queens is on right now. I don't know if anybody ever watched that. Finally going to get my headliner fixed in my car. A few days from now it's going to go in. Actually, it's almost a week from now it's going to go in. He'll keep it for a day. He said he thinks he'd get it all done in a day. Nikki's looking outside. It can't, the headliner in the back rear window is starting to come down. Nowhere else but there, but they can't fix it. It has to be totally replaced, which I thought many times going out there and just fixing it myself, but I'd do a crappy job anyway. So. And this is his business, and he seemed pretty reasonable. Because I talked to several people, and he seemed pretty reasonable, and he's insured, and he's licensed, so that's what's most important. I don't want somebody to go in there and take my car and spill glue all over it or cut. So I've had that done before, believe it or not. I had my windows tinted, not in this car, but in another car, and I had it done by the dealer actually, because they had promised tinted windows on my car and it wasn't. This was years ago, long time ago, back in the 80s. So they took it into the detail in their shop and they put the windows in. And this is when I was single. I had a really nice car, all the leather stuff, whatever else. And I go to pick up my car, and on the driver's side, there's a big slit in the leather. And I'm like, it wasn't like that when I dropped it off. And thank goodness somebody in the shop spoke up and said he saw the guy accidentally cut it. And the guy never said nothing. So they had to replace that and fix it. You know, if I let somebody off the street do it, I got to replace it and fix it. So I figure I'm going to get somebody. I always get somebody licensed and insured. Or if they do some damage, they got to pay for it. I don't want it to come out of my pocket. You might have to pay just a little bit more money, but in the long run, it's better. And actually, he was pretty reasonable on his price. But if you go with somebody without that, you end up paying any kind of damage or cost and stuff like that. So, but I notice I'm rambling on, and it's already been over 20 minutes. I'm trying to make these not too long so people can enjoy them and don't have to spend all day watching it. But you guys are so wonderful, and I appreciate you guys so much. You just don't know how much I appreciate all of you, and I definitely think of you as family, and that's why I shared Tigger's thing, because I talk so much about him, and I know you guys have grown to know him and love him just like we do. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day or wonderful evening, depending on where you are. And I'll talk to you guys later. I love you. Okay. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Give it a thumb up and share. And please, everybody, hit the bell so every time my video comes out, you'll be notified. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.